Welcome to the Vol Bros presented by the Ooltewah Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Ruston, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And we also are proud to be representatives of the University of Tennessee on the Believe Entertainment Network. We had some conversations just this week with some other Believe Entertainment Network shows, and looking forward to having some of them as our guests. We've already got Alabama lined up. It sounds like we're going to have two different Alabama podcasts join us on the same live stream, so that'll be fun. We got one for Arkansas as well, so trying to hunt one down for Georgia, so we're looking forward to that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, although, spoiler alert, next week, the schedule across the country for week 3, holy cow, it is loaded. Unlike this week, which kind of stinks, but next week is loaded. So we have a game this Saturday against ETSU, coached by none other than Chattanooga native Will Healy. Very excited for Will. He's excited to be in Neyland. Pretty cool to hear his comments about that. So, Ruston, we always do 3 things. We say what it is that we want to see happen on Saturday. We say, who do we think we're going to be talking about the most as having a fantastic game on Sunday? And our third thing that we say, we got to do our score predictions. So, Ruston, let's start with you. What is it that you want to see this Saturday at Neyland Stadium?
I want to see the defense set the tone early and not get caught off guard. Will Healy is a really good coach. He's a really strong offensive mind, and he's got some weapons. Former Michigan quarterback Cade McNamara is his starting quarterback. Former UConn starting running back Devontae Houston is his starting tailback. Houston is a big-time player. He had 150 yards rushing last week. They've got dudes, and he's a good coach. And I guarantee you, he's watched the film from 2 years ago of Austin Peay, and he's going to come out and throw screens all over the place and run reverses and try to do everything he can to get our defense unaligned or misaligned early and try to create confusion. So I want to see the defense respond to that. I want to see them not be caught off guard. I want to see them play their assignment and alignment and, get several 4-and-outs to start the game and set a tone that, no, we're not going to let you come compete today.
Absolutely. There are 3 things specifically that I want to see happen. Number 1, when they publish the post-game notes on utsports.com, I want to see on the page that has participation list, I want to see every single Tennessee player possible on that participation list. I want it to be, I want Joey to play the first half. I want Jake Merklinger to play the third quarter and George McIntyre to play the fourth quarter. I would love to see that. Do I think that's going to happen? Unfortunately, I don't actually, but that's what I would love to see. I would love to see as many people as humanly possible get on the field this weekend. Is this one of, every player can play in 4 games and preserve their red shirt. Is this one of those 4 games this season? I think it is. And so, I think Tennessee wins. I hope they win Vols by 50. I hope that's what's happening, but I don't think it'll be that. But I do think they win, and I sincerely hope that we get to see everybody and their brother and their cousin and their uncle twice removed, whatever. I hope they get every single person on the field this weekend. Second thing I want to see is no injuries, 0 injuries. Ricky Gibson's out. We don't know how long he's out now. All we know is what they said is an extended period of time. Well, that's not good because you got Georgia coming to town next week. So no injuries. And then the third thing is this. I thought there was a really cool interview with Joey Aguilar after the first game of the season. And the person interviewing him asked him, what'd you think about playing in front of 54,000 people at Mercedes-Benz? And he said it was awesome. Like, it was so cool getting to play in front of that many people. And I just love the fact that this Saturday, there's going to be almost 54,000 people at the Vol Walk. I mean, he's going to walk in that stadium and it's going to be double, what he's experienced last week. So I'm looking forward to seeing his reaction after it. And I can't wait to see, his mom asked that on Twitter, as either yesterday or the day before, his mom tweeted and said she's bringing her elderly mother, Joey's grandmother, to the game on Saturday. And she was getting advice from fans. She said the grandmother can't walk very far. She was getting advice from fans as to where she needs to get the grandmother during the Vol Walk to make it easy to get into the stadium. She has no idea what she's about to walk into. No. She is going to be floored at how many people show up for that Vol Walk. And I can't wait to see her reaction and be like, that was the coolest thing ever, getting to see Joey walk down there with that many people cheering, seeing my mother's reaction to him, to her grandchild. I'm looking forward to seeing what she says about that experience. That's going to be really cool. Let's see some of the comments that came through. Mississippi Vols joining us. Welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, good Thursday evening. Hope all of you had a great week. Nealon awaits for the first time this season. I know, ain't it great? I love it. Rebel Jew, welcome, buddy. He said, good evening, y'all. It's been a great week or so of top commits. Absolutely. He said 2026 is looking great. Yes, it is. Got another big one in the last few days there. So Jonathan said, hello, Ruston and Evan chat family. Hope everyone's had a great week so far. Figured since y'all started late, I decided to listen to Frank Sinatra until you started. That's what I'm talking about. Good to have you, Jonathan. We're glad you're with us, man. Mississippi Vols said, hit the old like and subscribe buttons. I think that's an excellent idea. Rebel Juice said, but we did lose 4-star wide receiver Tyron Evans to North Carolina. Yeah, I think that's because Tristan Keys came. Let's see. David, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He's saying, Eden Vol Bros, we need to get the W with no injuries. Amen. Amen. Totally agree. Jonathan said, don't forget to tell your mom and them about the Vol Bros. Excellent advice. Rhonda, there's channel member. Good to have you, Rhonda. She said, good evening, bros. Good evening, bro chat. Goal for Saturday is no injuries. Totally agree. Get the W and no injuries. That's the goal. David said we will face 2 former Power 4 starting quarterbacks in Cade McNamara from Iowa, like Ruston mentioned, and Jacoby Criswell from North Carolina.
Michigan.
Who? McNamara?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michigan and Iowa. So he was at both.
Yeah. I don't count Iowa. They don't run the offense there.
They don't allow the quarterback to throw the ball, so it's not really a quarterback. Mississippi Vols said the main thing I want to see is no injuries. 100%. Absolutely. Matt, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He's a channel member. Hey, Matt, I got an email for you from Oak and Twine, so I'll forward it to you tomorrow. Jonathan said, let's see. I want to see no injuries. I want to see McCoy playing a few snaps, and I want to see a lot of freshmen play. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree, man. 100% agree with all that. Rebel Juice said, I want to see no injuries. Amen. Little to no mistakes. Run up the score and a win this Saturday. Absolutely. David said that he would rest Nate Robinson. I think, yeah, he'll get limited playing time and, just enough to get on the stat sheet. Let's see. Will, how's it going, man? Good to have you, Will. Glad you're with us. He said, told y'all we would take care of Texas for you. Yeah, y'all did. Absolutely. Tremendous defensive game. David said, I would put second and third string in after first series of second half. Yeah, I think so. I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think that's what's going to happen. Heupel's MO is he sends the starters out for the first series in the second half, and then here comes the backup quarterback and that kind of thing after it. Let's see.
Will Star, my favorite part of the Texas-Ohio State game is Matt Patricia, Ohio State's defensive coordinator, has a laminated play sheet, but he's got a pencil stuck in his hat. which isn't going to do much for you on a laminated piece.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't work too good. That's pretty funny. Let's see here. We just got a new channel member. That's what I'm talking about. TriStar, welcome, buddy. Thank you so much for joining. That is awesome. Thank you. Let's see some of the other comments that came through. Rebel G said he saw Joey Aguilar's interview on Feinbaum. Kid speaks well. You can tell he's truly committed. Yeah, that's the great thing about Joey. Like he is grateful for the opportunity that he has before him, and that endears him to all of Vol Nation for sure. For sure. Let's see here. Some of the other comments came through. Hey, TriStar joined the honorary fam level. I appreciate that, buddy. So what that means is I will send you a joining link to our message board on our website. So you get access to that as well. Let's see here. Oreo Puppy Dog said, why do we only move up 2 spots and Alabama are still ahead of us? Yeah, fair question. I think everybody has that exact same question. David said, Ohio State has defense again. The offense isn't as explosive, though. Penn State game will be interesting. Jonathan said, our secondary depth is getting worrisome with Gibson out and McCoy out till who knows when. That's fair. Absolutely.
I think you'll probably
Ty
see
Redmond played really well.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see Jermod for a few snaps this weekend just to get some looks, and then I think you'll see him Georgia game pretty consistently.
Yep. Let's see. TriStar said, nice to see Tennessee playing Polk County High School this week. Well, ETSU, they're pretty good. So they'll I'm hoping it, like Ruston said last time, I'm hoping it's not reminiscent of the Austin P game 2 years ago. That was way too close. But I think Tennessee wins handily this weekend, but I think ETSU is going to put up a decent fight. I mean, they got some dudes over there. David said Ty Redmond is a dude as a true freshman. He sure is. Jeff, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said ETSU ran a lot of wide receiver screens and a lot of up tempo in their first game. When Syracuse ran tempo, we were having trouble getting the signal in position. I hope we improve that. Amen. You would think we'd have experience practicing against it every day, but we did struggle when Syracuse went tempo. Let's see. Matt said, y'all like the stream, dang it. Appreciate you, Matt. That's great. Let's see here. Rebel G said, is there any update on the injuries? Unfortunately not, because Tennessee is Tennessee, and that has been up-tempo offense and not saying anything about injuries are the two MOs of
there will be no updates. That will not happen.
Yep. David said, why has Dylan Lewis not been talked about playing like Redmond, Merritt, or Sidney Walton?
So weirdly, and I was kind of honestly a little surprised by this, they moved Dylan to safety. So he is Andre Turrentine's backup, which I was not expecting at all. I haven't seen Dylan in a few months, so he must have bulked up because you got to be a lot thicker to play safety. So, I think you'll probably see him this weekend. You also, again, you never know about injuries. You don't know who's really banged up. Tennessee doesn't reveal anything. You could have a dude with a broken leg and they'll say he has a concussion. So, you just you have no clue
injury.
what's actually going on. But I was very shocked to see Dylan listed on the depth chart as a safety. That was surprising.
Matt said, love watching Evan and Ruston. This is such a great channel. Y'all, we're blessed to have this community. I appreciate that so much, Matt. Thank you, man. We love having you with us. Thank you so much. David said, per VolQuest, McCoy, Gibson, Hobbs, and Moy will be out. Yeah, I mean that, and there's going to be several other dudes that are going to play a half, and then they're going to not see the field the second half as well.
I want to see the injury report before I believe McCoy. If that's the case, then he's not playing against Georgia.
Let's see here. Rebel Juice said there's multiple teams, including Alabama, that lost their first game and still ranked above Tennessee. We should at least be above Alabama. I agree. We should be above Alabama. Will said Ohio State was being conservative. Sayin was making his first start against a great defense. Sayin is going to light it up. Bobby, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. So we beat ETSU in Georgia. Where do you think they will honestly rank us? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so if we beat ETSU, we're not moving up like that because that's expected, right? And so
yeah,
we'll stay at 22. So the question becomes, what if then we beat Georgia?
8 or 9.
I mean, it'd have to be, right? Because they surely they're not going to rank Georgia ahead of us if we beat them, and they're not going to drop Georgia out of the top 10. Maybe not even, definitely not farther than 12 or 13. So, I think that's totally fair. 9 or 10 at worst, surely, if we beat Georgia. It should be even higher than that, but if we're being honest, that they're not going to rank Tennessee any higher than they have to.
Yeah.
TriStar said, hopefully Tennessee does TTSU what Marion County did to my Polk County Wildcats, 57-0. Man, I hope so. That'd be great. I'm sorry for your Polk County Wildcats there, but I hope that's the score. I don't think it will be, but I hope it is. Let's see. I Bleed Orange said, did you see where we lost JB Shabazz today, 4-star player? How did we lose him to North Carolina? I'm so confused. I actually didn't see that. So, yeah.
Two things. Number one, you got to remember we're in a time right now where, and I think this is right, you don't want to promise kids too much, especially high school kids, unless you're desperate. And right now, North Carolina is desperate. Like, they just need players in the worst way. Anybody who watched that debacle against TCU, North Carolina's roster sucks. I mean, they're just terrible. So they've got to overhaul that roster. They got to get better players. So they're probably making some promises to some high school kids that nobody else is willing to make because they're just desperate. So, teams in a position like Tennessee don't have to cater to high school kids. We can go find an offensive lineman in the portal that's 3 times that player right now. There's not a high school rising senior in America that compares to anybody that's in the portal.
Slim, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, I love our new Cadillac offense. It drives mighty fine. It sure does. And it's nice to see so many different formations in one game, more than we saw probably all of last year combined. Rebel Juice said, if we win this weekend and beat Georgia next week, we should be a top 10, if not top 5 team at that point. Now, 100% agree. We should be top 5. We should be. I guess I've just been burned by the AP poll so many times that I don't think they'll put us in that, but they should. I just don't think they will. I agree with you 100%. Let's see. Rob said we need to stop getting penalties for the defense lining up off sides. I agree. That's an easy thing. It only happened once last week that I remember. But yeah, I mean, that's an easy thing to fix, right? I'm glad you're with us, Rob. Let's see here. Rhonda. Rhonda said Coach Heupel could work for the CIA with his injury reports and stuff. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Will said, Evan and Ruston, what's your contest team names so that we can see where we all stand against you? So mine is Volbro Evan. Ruston is 1 week at a time. We both went 6-4 in week 1. Side note, if you have not yet submitted your picks, for those of you, we had 50 people exactly play in our college football pick'em challenge. If you have not yet submitted your picks, you got to do so by tomorrow at 3:00 p.m. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you get them in. You can go to the volbros.com/contest, and they're right there at the top of the page. The week 1 results are right below them. They're all right there. It's like a one-stop shop for you. Let's see. Yeah, Slam said at the end of the day, Heupel doesn't say much, especially about injuries. I agree. Matt said Heupel's adapting and progressing his offensive scheme. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that, right? David said Austin Price knows Heupel won't confirm injury report, but AP implied McCoy wouldn't play till UAB at the earliest. So that really hurts if we're playing against Georgia without Jermod and Ricky Gibson. That hurts bad. But honestly, it's not a surprise with Jermod, in my opinion, because, I mean, it's been less than, 9 months? He tore it in January.
Yeah. ACLs are weird things. Everybody recovers different.
Chris, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He makes a fantastic point. He said, what does he want to see this weekend? Don't get anybody hurt. Amen, brother. Totally agree. That's the main thing. Rebel Juice said the people that did the AP polls must have had partied hard over Labor Day weekend before the rankings came out. Yeah. Tony, good to have you, buddy. He said, don't care about rankings right now. Maybe after 6 games, start paying attention. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Amen. We're still stuck in that weird position of the AP people who don't actually know anything about football have screwed up the rankings to start the season, and it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for it to correct.
In regards to the Shabazz kid, David said money was a factor. Matt said money. It's a drag. God's Gun and Ammo, welcome, buddy. He said they said UNC outbid us.
Right. But let's be clear on what that means. That means a very desperate North Carolina was throwing bags at a high school kid, and we said, we're not spending our money at that level on a high school kid. They didn't outbid us. We made a better financial decision, and we're using our money on players who will actually help, not developmental guys that are going to help in 3 years.
Yeah, going for the portal. David said UNC has the cash, but not the Jimmies and Joes yet. That's fair. Chris said go Vols from Buffalo. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, man. That's so cool. From Buffalo. That's awesome. That is so cool. We're glad you're with us. That is really neat. Let's see. Rhonda said, but Ruston, Coach Bill has the Jordan brand. Let's see. Rebel Juice said, I watched TCU NC. That was a terrible start for Bill Belichick's college football career. Can't think of a worse start with such a big name in my lifetime.
He looked miserable too. Like he looked like he wanted to be anywhere but that sideline. That was brutal.
Tony said, did y'all hear about one-time transfer portal window today? Not final yet.
And I love that they're looking at only one transfer window. That's fantastic. I love that. I hope they move it forward. But I hate the dates they talked about. They're talking about the first 2 weeks of January. That doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah, that's right in the middle of the playoff.
The problem we had last year was there were multiple players all over the country negotiating new NIL deals in the middle of the playoff and threatening not to play. So I don't understand why the NCAA can't go, hey, let's make students be students. And instead of giving them the option to leave in the middle of the year, let's make the transfer portal window late March, early April, right after spring practice. Make them play the whole first semester, make them go through spring practice and really see where they are on the upcoming year's depth chart. Then, after a logical conversation with coaches about your future in the program, hey, this isn't a good fit. I need to go enter the portal. Then they have plenty of time to look at their options, talk to other schools, go through admissions, go through enrollment, and be enrolled well before the summer session starts. I don't understand why this is so hard and why they keep making this calendar make no sense.
Agreed. I bleed orange. Welcome, buddy. He said, "Will David Sanders Jr. be back this Saturday?" I mean, there's no way of knowing with Tennessee, but I would say this: if he's able to play, do you want him to start? Probably not. Do you want him to come in and get a few series under his belt? Yeah, so he could at least see some collegiate level, other than what he's seen in practice. But I mean, some collegiate level competition before Georgia. Would it make sense if he's still even a little bit injured to just sit him out? 100%. Yeah, I mean, don't risk anything because Jesse Perry can do the job just fine, especially this weekend.
I think the biggest thing is you want to get him some reps running tempo, just so he's not doing that for the first time ever against Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ron said, as far as rankings, we don't need the target on our back yet. So as long as we keep moving up, we'll be fine. Yeah, totally agree. Will said, that's what Ohio State does. No need to outbid anyone. They develop the 4-star players if needed. And then you just
Correct.
go get in the transfer portal. Okay, I love it. This is his MO now. Somebody's got to say it, right? Somebody's got to say it. Fire Coach Willie Martinez, go Big Orange. So anybody who doesn't know, this is probably more than a year now. It's been going on for more than a year. Keg, during football season, it always cracked him up that people were always calling for Willie Martinez's job, and the guy's just tearing it up, really. And so he always does this as a joke. He's not being serious, just so everybody knows. Let's see. Chris said, love Nico's nickname, Polynesian Princess. Rustin, did you happen to see the SEC Shorts recap of week 1? That was hilarious. At the end, when Tennessee gets out of bed and goes and watches Nico, and it's like, oh, and another horrible interception for that was pretty funny. Let's see. Jonathan said he wholeheartedly agrees with you. The dates that they currently are proposing are not good. Totally agree. Rebel Juice said, my wife's side of the family in Alabama said rumor on campus as DeBoer could be gone by the Tennessee game or that weekend if he loses at home to Tennessee. So I'm going to give a shout out to Audrey Kaler. Audrey is one of our channel members, and we call her our investigative reporter because she finds just, the most specific stats for us and that kind of stuff all the time. She sent us a video. I think it was from StubHub. It was either StubHub or Ticketmaster. And it was the ticket prices for the Alabama football game this weekend. As of yesterday, you could get in the door, and there were tons of seats available for $8.34 a ticket.
Yep.
Now, I will say today, Ricky Allison and I were looking at it earlier today. It has gone up to $12 now as of today. But you can get in the door for $12 at an Alabama football game. That's bonkers.
My only question, and I've heard all those rumors, and there's even rumors that some of the donors have already gotten together and started pulling the buyout. Intelligent people who have lots of money got there because they make intelligent financial decisions. This Alabama football roster cost $20 million in NIL money. That buyout is $70 million. So if you make a move during the season, you're flushing a $20 million roster down the tubes because you just told all those guys you're going to get to go in the portal, and you're paying a $70 million buyout. So that would be a $90 million decision. I just don't see it. And the other reason I don't see it is I'm not sure Lane Kiffin would take the job. If Lane would take the job, then I would say, okay, go for it. because I think Lane would kill it at Alabama. I think he would do extremely well. I think Lane would have killed it at Tennessee if he had stayed. A guy with his level of offensive knowledge, his connections in the coaching world to bring in big name coaches and unlimited financial resources, he will do extremely well. But if you look at the odds, the Vegas odds on who the other options are for the Alabama job, it's terrible. There is no way I would spend $90 million to make a change for anyone other than Lane Kiffin. If Lane won't guarantee them he's coming, they need to roll with what they have and ride it out.
I believe Orange said, are you guys watching the Cowboys game? Classic Georgia player did the classic thing. They're letting them drive cars on the fields now?
No. I think she's referring – yeah. I didn't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah. I just had to make the car joke. David said they should have the TP week after February signing day, transfer portal week. Undergrads finish college semester at current school and go after spring, and grads can transfer immediately. And to Ruston, what he's saying there about Kalen DeBoer, if a head coach is fired, everybody on the team has the opportunity to enter the portal for 30 days.
For 30 days.
From the day of firing, no matter when the portal window is.
I think I would be okay with that timeline. I think that makes sense. I still like the idea of forcing kids to honor a commitment and go through spring practice, because I just think it sends a message of, you're a part of this program. Go work your tail off when the season ends, get in the weight room, go through spring practice, and just try to earn the spot you want. Okay, if it doesn't work out and the coaches go, sorry, it's just not going to happen here, all right, fine, then go enter the portal. That's a logical thing to do. But to just jump in the portal in January because you're ticked off about something and not have to actually work towards anything, I think is just a terrible thought process that the NCAA has allowed to be out there.
Keg said secondary is getting better and better, so he's confirming what I said about his opinion of Coach Martinez there. Let's see. God's Gun and Ammo said, it was funny. The bad thing is that most of the viewers of the UCLA game were Tennessee fans. Yeah, for sure.
It might have been the most highly watched UCLA game ever.
Will said, do you think Bama would hire Deion Sanders?
No. I'm sorry. I don't understand what the fascination is with Deion Sanders. He's not a good coach. He's been a 500 coach everywhere he's been. He goes out and spends insane amounts of money on really good assistant coaches and really high talent, and then goes 500. Like, I don't get the fascination.
Chris Ferris said, no, we want DeBoer to remain. Alabama will descend back to the Mike years of Mike Shula, Mike DeBose, all the Mike coaches. Yeah, okay. So Craig asked a good question. He said, if they fire coach midseason, will players hit the portal midseason too? They could if they wanted to. They have 30 days from the day the coach is fired to enter the portal. So if they wanted to, they could.
So for some of them, if that season's going badly enough, I'm not going to risk injury for these jokers anymore. I'm out. I'm going to go enter the portal. That could very well happen.
Absolutely. Rebel Juice said, what's the odds of Urban Meyer coming out of retirement?
No.
Matt said he wouldn't spend $90 for like Kiffin, much less $90 million.
I'm just telling you, the man went 7-5 at Tennessee, starting two offensive line walk-ons. You win 7 games in the SEC with 2 walk-ons starting on the offensive line, you're doing a heck of a job.
Sam said, do you think athletic directors will continue to approve contracts with these sky-high buyouts?
I think it depends on how badly they want somebody.
Yeah, it's market, right? Like the market.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Now there's precedent for it. So Agents are going to demand it. I don't think the ADs have much of a choice, unfortunately.
I want to be the agent. I want to be Kalen DeBoer's agent. I want to be paid $7 million for him to get fired. That's a heck of a deal for me.
Absolutely. Rhonda said maybe they'll hire Gruden.
He's on the list at Vegas.
Will said they got to know who the next coach is to convince the players to stay and not mass transfer out. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah. Although, I mean, candidly, that's a two-way street. The coach may look at the players and go, "No, I'm good. You can head on." So, then the incoming coach may look at some of the roster spots and go, "Yeah, we're going to backfill that one. You can head on to the portal."
Yeah. Tony said, I hope fans don't turn on Joey after the Georgia game. None of our quarterbacks have played very good against that defense. Hopefully Joey can change that. Their defense will be top 3 in the country again. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, our second thing we always talk about is this Sunday when we go, side note, by the way, this Sunday will be the 250th episode of the Vol Bros. So very excited for that. Hope you'll join us. We'll have Ree Carringer joining us that night to celebrate our 250th. It'll be good. Ruston, when we go live Sunday night at 9:00, who do you think we're going to be talking about and raving about who played so well against ETSU?
Who do I think we will, or who do I want us to? Because those are two different questions.
Let's do both.
I think we'll be talking about the running backs because I don't think that 3-headed monster. I don't think ETSU has any answer for that. I think all three of them are going to have a really big day. Who I want to be talking about is Dominic Bailey, Joshua Josephs, Tyree Weathersby, Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross, all the defensive ends. I want the defensive ends to have an enormous game, because if the defensive ends are having an enormous game, that means ETSU is not doing what they want to do. If that position has a big game, then they have locked ETSU down in between the tackles, and that's where we want to keep them. We don't want to let them be chucking it all over the yard, throwing screen game, running counters, running reverses. We want to keep them between the tackles. So if the ends are having a great day, then I think we're probably having a great day as a team.
So I think that's a great answer. This one, in my opinion, last week was easier than this week to answer this question, because you're sitting here thinking, who do I think we're going to be talking about? Well, if we're talking about them, then they've either done something extraordinary, or it's somebody who you didn't expect to dominate and they dominated. That's the thing. Like when we talk about this game, we shouldn't come out of this game, man, Joey is the real deal. Like we shouldn't be saying that. We shouldn't be saying our receivers torched them. We shouldn't be saying that, because that's expected, like that shouldn't be a thing that everybody's like, oh yeah. Wow. Did you see those guys? No one in their secondary should be able to keep up with Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews. Like that's the bottom line. So those are things that we should not be, surprised by coming out of this weekend. So in my opinion, it's games like these are tougher to make this prediction of who's going to be the person that we're really raving about, because we expect everybody to play well against teams like ETSU. So with that being said, I think your choice is great, specifically defensive ends, getting to the quarterback. So here's what I'm going to say. I think you're right. I think we won't be able to not talk about the running backs after this game, because I think they're going to tear it up. So I think that's a fantastic choice. They're not going to be able to stop those 3 dudes. They're just not going to. Our offensive line is going to dominate them, as they should. And our running backs are going to have a field day. Joey's going to have at least 2 deep bombs for touchdowns. Those are things that we should expect to happen. So who do I think we're going to be talking about? I don't know which two guys it is, but I'm saying we have 2 interceptions on defense this Saturday. Because, like you said earlier, Cade McNamara, he's not used to throwing the ball. And so I think we have two interceptions this weekend. So I think we're going to be talking about the secondary. That's my prediction because, I mean, you can't expect to have 2 interceptions in a game. So I think that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. So I think that's why we'll end up talking about him. And I think what you said is why that'll happen, because Cade McNamara is going to be on his back so many times that he's going to get sick and tired of holding on to the ball. So he's going to be letting it go a little bit early. And I think that's why we're going to see 2 interceptions, because our front 7 is going to make his Saturday afternoon unlike the Chicago song. It will not be Saturday in the park. It'll be Saturday in a nightmare basically for him. So that's why I'm going to say the secondary. Some of the folks in the comments. Let's see. David said, "Do you think Heupel will consider taking an experienced transfer portal quarterback every year now, so we don't have freshmen or walk-on quarterbacks?" Not after this year.
Depends on who they are. I mean, sometimes you take one just for depth purposes.
Right. You know, if Merklinger transfers after this year, then he has to take one, because you have McIntyre and Faison Brandon. You got to go get somebody. Just for, like Ruston said, like they did this year, they had to have somebody to have at least a third scholarship quarterback on the team, because you can't play with 2. So if Merck transfers, then yes, they have to. If Merck doesn't transfer, then I don't think they do. Yeah. That's a great question. Slim said Heupel's the hottest coach right now. In my opinion, he wouldn't leave Tennessee. He's building something special. I agree. Matt, great prediction, Matt. He said he thinks we see the 2 freshman running backs show off in the second half. I think that's a great prediction. I mean, Morris already got carries last week against Syracuse, so he's definitely going to get some carries this week. I think that's a great prediction. Let's see. I Bleed Orange said, I have Joey player of the game, 500 yards passing. Wow. That's a lot of yards, dude. Like that's a lot of yards. That is not 1 or 2 touchdowns deep. That is 3 or 4 touchdowns way deep. I mean, think about that. If he throws, okay, he had a 73 yarder last week. If he throws 3 of those, that's not even half the 500 yards total. And hopefully he's not even playing in the second half, because we're up so much. Oh, and he said that. I didn't even read I got sidetracked after the 500 yards. He said in the first half. Dude, I hope you're right. That's all I can say. Because that would be incredible. But that's a lot of yards. I mean, when you take a step back and consider that would mean he would be on pace to have over 1,000 yards passing in one game. That would be like half a season's worth of yards in one game. That's a lot of yards. Let's see. Matt said Staley's the real deal. Yeah, he's had a phenomenal start to his year compared to the growth from year 1 to year 2 for him has been incredible. Sam said Tennessee fans need to start gobbling up tickets for the game in Alabama. Can you imagine a stadium takeover? Oh, that's what I'm talking about, Sam. That's a good idea right there. That's what I'm talking about. Jonathan said, I think we'll be talking about Morris. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we'll be talking about the young players on defense. I hope so. Absolutely. I Bleed Orange said, how do players on ETSU even enjoy playing games like this? They don't. I mean, they enjoy the atmosphere and the experience of getting to run out there and getting to play in front of that crowd. The players after that, once the ball snapped, they're not huge fans unless they start, maybe potentially getting close to an upset. This should not be that way. So the players don't enjoy it. The athletic department, however, loves it because they're going to make bank this week. The athletic department's about to fund 2 or 3 of their sports for the entire year off of this one game.
At least. Probably more like 7 or 8.
Yep. David, this is the best answer of the time. David said, I think we're going to be talking about Nico struggling against Dan Mullins' UNLV. Yeah.
Oh,
you're right.
I'll do you one further. Nico's going to lose to UNLV. That team's legit. And Dan Mullen has almost his entire offensive staff from Mississippi State reassembled. And we remember how good they were there. He went out and hired Paul Gunther to be his defensive coordinator, which was a massive coup. Gunther had been in the NFL for 22 years. He was the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, the Raiders, and the Cowboys, and was in the NFL for 22 years. And Dan Mullen convinced him to leave the NFL and come be his defensive coordinator. That coaching staff, yeah, Deshaun Foster couldn't be a GA on that coaching staff. That they're going to run roughshod over Nico and UCLA.
Yeah. Slim said, it's just nice having a quarterback that can actually play the position. Amen, brother. Volcano said, do you think Keys flips again? No. And I say that because of Adidas. He's an Adidas signed athlete now. He's going to the Adidas flagship school. Dude is about to make bank as of all. He ain't going anywhere. Sam said, why do we automatically assume a freshman who fails to win a starting job will give up instead of working hard to improve? I'm not assuming that. I hope Merklinger stays. But it wouldn't surprise me if he transferred because he sees McIntyre and Faison Brandon right behind him. That's just the state of college football, unfortunately. But I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays. I'd love to see him in Orange's whole career.
I'm not necessarily. Are there freshmen who fail to win a starting job who quit and move on? 100% yes. Happens in every campus all over the entire country. From a perspective of Jake Merklinger, I'm not so sure it's going to be a scenario of, you need to, stay here and develop and maybe you'll get a shot someday. You got to remember there's other schools calling these kids. And so, Coastal Carolina may call Merck and go, hey, you can come be our starter right now. And for a competitor, he's sitting there looking at a roster going, I may never play here. They're telling me I can start for the next 3 years there. I'm going. So these kids are constantly getting contacted by other schools. You never know what the conversations are that are happening internally. Sometimes it's not a matter of quitting. It's just, I want to play and I've got an opportunity down the road.
Well, and to Rustin's point, I mean, literally right now, while we're live on this show right now, he could be getting text messages and probably is getting text messages from representatives of other schools, whether that be players, coaches, family members of players who have been asked by the coaches to contact the kid. I mean, they're getting messages all the time.
Advisors, 7-on-7 coaches. There's so many touch points where you can make contact with kids now, and it's just constant. Like if the NCAA really wanted to, they could just go ahead and punish every school in the NCAA for tampering because they're all doing it.
100%, absolutely.
It could be the best one-day fundraiser the NCAA's ever done. Just do a blanket penalty for every single school in the NCAA for tampering and go, you want to argue? Because none of them want to open that door. They don't want to be investigated. So they'll just pay the penalty and say, yeah, okay.
Yep. David said he thinks Joey goes 21-27 for 342 yards and 5 touchdowns this weekend.
That's very specific.
I like the 342 yards. I think that is actually a very reasonable yardage amount. I think that he could do that, and it'd be a great game, right? Like if you got 342 yards in a game, that's awesome. And so I think that that's totally legitimate. That could happen. 5 touchdowns, that's a lot. I hope that's the case, but one or two of them might be with his feet if he hit 5 touchdowns. Because they're going to listen when they get down in the red zone, they're going to hand it off to those dudes in the backfield, and they're going to let them run, and rightfully so. But that would be a phenomenal game. Will said 1,000 yards in one game. He used to do that playing in the backyard every day. Rebel Juice said Joey's about to find out how loud Nealon gets. He's going to feel like the king right going through that power T. Absolutely. If he doesn't know how welcomed he is, he will. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Mississippi Vol said, living here in Mississippi, I can tell you Dan didn't recruit very well, but he could develop talent like crazy. He had Mississippi State ranked number 1 for 4 weeks in 2014. He sure did.
I don't know that I would say Dan didn't recruit very well. I'd say Dan was at Mississippi State. It's hard to recruit to that place.
Sure. Matt said Penn State just signed with Adidas as well. They sure did. I mean, it looks like, Tennessee would be their number 1 school. Penn State and Miami are going to be, 2A and 2B, probably respectively there. I mean, that kudos to Adidas, man. They're making some moves, making some waves. Rebel G said, so this is Joey's last year in college football, right? Correct. Yes. Who do you think is QB1 next season?
George McIntyre. I'll say it. I mean, every person who watches it says from a sheer talent perspective, George is the most talented quarterback on that field. But he needs to grow. He needs to add some weight. He needs to learn. But I don't see any scenario where he's not the starter next year.
Will said if if Merck transfers, he gets to start for 3 years and has a bigger NIL package. Yeah, probably so. David said Adidas getting Tennessee and Penn State. They aren't messing around. That's right. They're not. Volcano said he's here in Miami. He's making a huge push for keys. Miami also doesn't have Faison Brandon in the same class. And that's a huge benefit for Tennessee. Let's see. Rhonda said, when I hit the mega Powerball, no worries, guys. We good. Is it still 1.3 billion with a B?
Mm-hmm.
To go
1.4.
Oh, man. At that point, it's almost financially irresponsible to not get a ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. After taxes, though, it's probably only like 500 million. So
586.
Oh, you've already done the math. Okay.
Oh, no, it's so high. Every time the news talks about it, they say, if you want to take the one-time lump sum after taxes, it's $586 million.
Daggone. That's incredible. Let's see here. I believe you said Joey can't throw those passes he threw next week against Georgia because they'll get picked. A couple of them.
100%.
Slim, yes, Pavia's dad and brother. I think it was his dad and his brother.
No, it's both brothers.
2 brothers, yeah. Were arrested because they were fighting each other at the Vanderbilt game. Not opposing teams, which don't do that anyway. But no, each other. They were fighting each other and they got arrested.
It started fighting each other, and then one of them attacked a cop. So he actually got arrested for felony assault.
That's not good.
Now I want to read. I saw that comment, and I want to read you a headline of a news article based on that. This is KOB4 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The headline says, "Brothers of New Mexico football star arrested."
Just a bit behind there.
The Fox affiliate in the Albuquerque, New Mexico does not know that Diego Pavia is no longer at New Mexico.
And hasn't been for over 24 or over 18 months at this point.
And what makes it even better is the first two sentences. Let me read you this. Two siblings of local football star Diego Pavia are accused of causing problems at their brother's game in Nashville. So the Fox
It was a road
affiliate
game.
yes, the Fox affiliate in Albuquerque, New Mexico does not even know that New Mexico wasn't in Nashville and thinks that Diego Pavia is still there playing for him.
Local football star.
Hard-hitting journalism right there.
Yeah, that's sad.
I guarantee you the sports writer that has that gets a vote in the AP poll too. What you want to bet money?
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of people that predict Vanderbilt to win the SEC every year, which there's at least one person every single year. This year it was two people who picked Vanderbilt to win the SEC at SEC Media Days. I just don't get that. I Bleed Orange said, how many lottery tickets you got, Ruston?
I may or may not have bought 7 when it was 1.3 billion, and I did not win.
Let's see. David said, McIntyre reminds me so much of Tyler Bray. I hope he plays as well. That kid can sling it.
Yep. Exact same player.
Rhonda said, somehow I'll figure out how to live on that kind of money. I think we might be able to make it for sure. Like Ed Orgeron said, might be able to afford a hamburger with that much money. Let's see. Rebel G said, from what he saw, Alabama couldn't stop the run, so Tennessee could be in for a win there. Yep. Keg said, did Dylan Lewis play special teams last week? I don't believe he played.
He was banged up and didn't play at all.
Let's see. Sam said, just remember your bros, Rhonda. An epic charter bus ride to the Alabama game would be a great start to your lotto riches. David said, Keys better be starting next year for that deal. Mrs. Val said, the fact that it's hard to recruit to Starkville and he was able to do that was a remarkable coaching job. Yep.
Oh, I'll be the first one to say I think Dan Mullen is one of the most impressive coaches in the country. I thought he got a really bad rap at Florida. I mean, he has done an unbelievable job everywhere he's been.
Jonathan said that news affiliate in Arizona needs to read a little something before they start making reports. Let's see.
When I saw that article, I started because I was like, if anybody brings up the Pavia brothers getting arrested on our show, I'm going straight to this article because this is the worst journalism I've ever seen in my life.
Well, hey, it's time for maybe the most important part of the preview show. Everybody let us know your answer in the comments as well. It's time to make our score predictions. So, Ruston, what are you predicting as a score for this Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going to go 52-10.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. So here's the thing. When you think about breaking down the first half, if the starters play in the first half, if they don't really play much in the second half, what does that do to the score? They did give up 20-something points 26 points last week. And it was because 27 dudes played on defense. There's going to be even more dudes than that playing on defense this week. But I also agree with you. I don't think ETSU is going to score very much. So, you said 52-10. Is that what you said?
Yep.
All right. So, when I tried to do the math, I figure we score 6 touchdowns. It's 42 points. I figure we're going to kick 2 field goals, so 6 more points. So I'm going to say 48-13. You got 52-10. I'm going to say 48-13 is the final score. And I think that's because in the second half, I don't think we score that much. I'd say we get, one field goal and maybe at least one, but maybe 2 touchdowns in the second half. So I mean, we're only scoring, that'd be 30 something points in the first half, 17 in the second. I think that's fair. Let's see. Comments coming through here. Big Dave, I see your question there about Heupel. We'll answer that in a second. David said Tennessee 59, ETSU 6. Hey man, sign me up for that. Slim said 63-3. Forget Vols by 50, Vols by 60. That's what I'm talking about. Big Dave said 48-13. Whoa, that's what I said, isn't it? How about that? Hey, great minds, man. Great minds thinking alike there. I like it. Whoa. I bleed orange he is drinking some orange Kool-Aid, buddy. That is awesome, dude. I bleed orange. I hope you are so right. I hope you are right, because that would be awesome. Forget Vols by 50. Forget Vols by 60. Vols by 70. 73-3. Wow, it would be awesome. Of course, I mean, if you throw for 500 yards, then yeah, you're probably on your way to scoring 73 points. So yeah, that's his prediction for the game. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say this too. I bleed orange. If Joey Aguilar throws for 500 yards this weekend and Tennessee wins by 70 or more points, you can have your pick of a hoodie off of our website. Okay. I will send you the link and you can pick whichever hoodie you want, whichever design on the hoodie. We got a hoodie for like 30 something bucks on there. So you can have your pick of which design you want on that hoodie. If Joey throws for 500 or more yards and Tennessee wins by 70 or more points, like you're predicting, because you deserve it. If you make that prediction and it happens, you deserve a hoodie. Let's see. Mississippi all said, hell, your prediction was close to his. He said 55-10. Will said Vols by 50, 63-13. That's what I'm talking about, Will. Rhonda said 56-14. Rebel Juice said 63-7. Jonathan said 62-10. Matt said 63-13. So a whole bunch of like low 60s to low teens. Let's see. Keg just said win and no injuries, man. Will said 9 touchdowns. Yep. Big Dave said you cheated. You saw my so that's a fair point. I did not see it until I said it on air. So I did not see it. Will said the real question is, does your coach like to run it up? He likes to play with efficiency. I'll put it that way.
I want to temper expectations on running it up. Chad Staggs, who none of you, I'm sure, know who that is. Chad is the new defensive coordinator Will Healy hired for quite a few years before he came to ETSU. He was Jamie Chadwell's defensive coordinator at Coastal Carolina. He has been highly successful. And honestly, it's going to be a little bit of a test to Joey, and it's why I think our running backs will have a big day. Chad runs the 3-3 stack. And, for those who follow football, you probably see the 3-3 stack a lot at the smaller college level or the high school level. And the biggest reason is you don't have enough defensive linemen, so you're just trying to get athletes on the field. And you're playing speed ball and playing athletes all over the place. He's going to try to confuse Joey. He's going to have dudes, they'll probably send 6 or 7 on every down. He's going to have dudes coming from every direction under the sun. Where that can be a problem for ETSU is if your 5 offensive linemen do a good job creating a hole at the point of attack, and if you've only got 3 defensive linemen, there's good odds somewhere between the 2 guards there's going to be a hole. The running backs can pop big runs because everybody else is slanting into the backfield, and there's no second level. So, that's one reason why I think the running backs will have a really big day. I think you're going to see a lot of inside zone type plays, guard to guard, where Tennessee's going to pop huge runs because we're going to attack them right up the middle, and they're not going to have the dudes to stand in the way.
And to your point there, I'll add this on about ETSU. So last week, ETSU played Kennesaw State, I believe it was. Let me look here. Let me make sure. They played
last week.
Murray State, not Kennesaw State. It was Murray State.
They killed Murray State last week.
45-17. Like they're good. For an FCS team, they're good. David just let me know it was Murray State as well. So
and there's David also mentioned. So there's two ways you can run the 3-3 stack. There's the one where you play a lot of cloud coverage. You're trying to just kind of keep guys in front of you, bend but don't break. And then there's the hyper stunting blitz from every angle, play a lot of man free, send tons of guys in the backfield every chance you get version. And that's what Chad Staggs runs. I think they had 8 or 9 sacks last week against Murray State. Like they were constantly sending dudes. And I think he'll do the same thing to Joey. I think he'll try to confuse Joey. But if you're an offensive coordinator, the solution to that is, okay, send 7 guys. We just got to block those 2 in the front right there, and boom, we're gone.
David said he thinks we rush for more than 300 yards. Matt said more than 400. And then Rhonda with the comment of the night said, if she wins the 1.7 billion lottery, she's going to buy everybody a hoodie on it. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. And she said, go Vols, baby. the custom emoji. Let's see. Jeff said, my prediction is the same I made before the season. Joey will be much more like Hooker than Milton and Nico, and this will be Hype's best team, and I'll be waiting on that hat.
I hope it's true.
Me too, man.
I will reserve judgment until the Georgia game.
Let's see here. Will said, I'm changing my prediction, 52-13, 7 touchdowns and a field goal, not enough possessions in a run-oriented game. Yeah,
that is the exact criteria that I use to come to 52-10.
Will said Ohio State only had 4 possessions in the first half last week. Yep. Hey, Mr. Osborne, welcome, buddy. He said, go Vols and go Bucks. ETSU alum and, of course, Vols fan for a little over 50 years. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Ooh, James just asked a really good question. I'm going to star that, James. I'm going to come back to that. Mr. Osborne said, as always, great show, Vol Bros. We appreciate you. So we had 3 comments that I starred that I want to go back to. Let's see. Big Dave said, will Heupel pull the first team for the second half? Depending on the score.
Usually, yeah, it depends on how many touchdowns they score in the first half. Usually he lets the starters run the first series of the second half and then he pulls them. But it really just depends on what the score is.
That is the standard operating procedure for Heupel. Volcano said, if Tennessee goes 7-5, they're not, so we don't have to worry about it. Let's see. James said, random question. Do you think Florida goes after Alex Golish if he beats them on Saturday?
100%. And for 2 reasons. I think bare minimum he's on the short list. But I think the reason is, number one, he plays a style similar to Steve Spurrier, to some extent Urban Meyer. He plays a style that the athletes in Florida are going to want to come play. So recruiting should be easy for him. The other reason is same conversation as the Kalen DeBoer conversation. There's just not many good options out there. Like when you look at who could potentially be available, if you can't get Lane Kiffin, number 2 on the list ain't great.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Golish will be a lot of fun to play for. He is my favorite coach press conference person. Now that, we don't have Mike Leach around anymore, and Lane gives some good ones every once in a while. Listen, there is no such thing. There's no such thing as coach speak with Alex Golish.
Mm-hmm.
The dude, he proved that his very first presser he ever did after a practice at Tennessee. And they're asking about the tight ends, and it's like the first practice of the season. And he goes, well, so-and-so, I can't remember who it was now. He's like, he's not playing this year. He's going to redshirt. He's not good enough to play. And they're like asking him questions about how do you think he's progressing? And it was hilarious. They did not anticipate him saying that. He totally changed that story.
Fun fact, ETSU's starting tight end and leading receiving tight end is Charlie Browder, who Alex Golish recruited to the University of Central Florida and then brought to the University of Tennessee with him, and is now the starting tight end at ETSU.
Jonathan said, do we have at least one defensive touchdown this week? Maybe. I'm predicting 2 interceptions. So I'd love for one of them to be a pick 6. That'd be great. Rebel Juice said, if we beat Georgia, there's probably going to be another goalpost coming down. That's fair. I think that would happen. Will said, keep hands off Brian Hartline. That's good. Jeremiah, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, are y'all looking forward to Arkansas coming to Tennessee? Yes,
I was not impressed with them Saturday. They got a lot of work to do.
So I say yes and no for here's the deal. Do I want revenge on them? Yes, absolutely I do. Do I want to play Arkansas in football as a Tennessee Volunteer fan? Never. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Tennessee and Arkansas. They never play well against Arkansas. It is always a close game. Years when Arkansas is really, really good. Like I'm thinking about the 6 overtime game from the early 2000s with Jason Witten catching the touchdown over the middle to win the game. It is always a close game. Always. So, no, I'm not looking forward to that game. But I hope we win and get revenge. Let's see. Jonathan said, I hope they don't go after Golish because I think he's a great coach. And I don't want Florida to have a good coach. Amen, brother. Totally agree. Rhonda said, as a Tennessee fan, I don't want Alex to go to the enemy. Yeah, totally agree. Will said, do you think Brian Hartline at Ohio State is the top assistant / offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, and most sought after? I think that's probably fair. He's definitely in the top 5. There's no doubt about that. I will say, I don't think Tim Banks is as sought after as Hartline is, but I do think Tim Banks is making a name for himself. Like, we know he's already been offered other jobs and he's turned them down. But I don't think he's as sought after as Brian Hartline is. Let's see. Big Dave said the Arkansas game in 98 was a wild one. He was there. Ruston was there too. That's cool. You got to see the stumble and fumble.
Yeah. I was just looking back at the Vegas odds to replace Kalen DeBoer. Right now, the second highest person on the odds is Glenn Schumann, Georgia's defensive coordinator. So I think if there was anybody, when you talk about Hartline, I think if there was anybody who might be more in demand, it might be Glenn Schumann, but those two would definitely be the top 2.
So you got Tennessee winning 52-10. I got them winning 48-13. Hopefully this is a fun Saturday. Now I will say this. This is the ESPN Plus game this week. So make sure you got your SEC Network Plus, watch ESPN subscriptions ready to roll, because this is every SEC team is contractually obligated to have one game a year on the ESPN family of networks plus. So ESPN Plus, watch ESPN, SEC Network Plus. This is Tennessee's game this year to be on that network. So everybody, make sure you're ready to roll at 3:30 on those networks this weekend. Andrew said, Evan, I remember the one Arkansas game against Houston Nutt, Vols 35-0 in the first quarter. That's what I'm talking about. I wish they were all like that. Unfortunately, historically, they are not. I wish they were. John said, I have a feeling this offseason is probably the offseason we lose Tim Banks. But with Inge there, I'm not too worried about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Jeff said, Kiffin, Golish, the coach of Tulane, Indiana, Kansas would be my interviews right now if I was an AD. Yeah, that's fair.
So he said one there that, if Alabama did move on from Kalen DeBoer, outside of Kiffin, there is one other person that I think could be very successful at Alabama, and that's Kurt Signetti. And he is a Saban disciple. So he knows, he's basically, in a lot of ways, he's a carbon copy of Nick Saban. So I could easily see him returning to Alabama and doing very well there, because he would immediately revert things to exactly how Nick Saban runs them.
Chris said, go Vols. Absolutely, man. Glad you're with us. David said, Mike Keith's first game was amazing. He did a great job, as expected, right? As expected. Volcano said, be honest, y'all are worried about Arkansas. I think we win the game. I just don't want to play them.
Unless they improve drastically, I'm not worried about the team I saw this weekend.
Keg said, thoughts on the Sooners versus Michigan this weekend. So what's interesting is Oklahoma, even though they're ranked slightly lower, it is at Oklahoma, and they are currently favored, I think, by 3 points. I think that this is a very important weekend for Venables. If they don't win this game, it may get that seat may be getting a little warm in Oklahoma for Venables. This is a very interesting weekend for him. Andrew said, Ruston, what do you think about Mullen to Alabama?
If I was Alabama's AD, I would definitely kick the tires on that. I think their AD's in a tough spot. I think the boosters are screaming, bring back Saban. Saban ain't walking through that. Yeah, Saban ain't walking through that door. So, the AD almost has to hire somebody from the Saban tree. Like, it's got to be Kiffin or Kurt Signetti, somebody like that. The name that's been floated a lot is Tommy Rees. I don't see Tommy Rees leaving the NFL and coming back to college, especially not in the NIL and transfer portal era. That sounds like a nightmare compared to getting to sit in your office and scheme plays all day. I think it almost has to be Kiffin or Signetti if they make a move.
Yeah. Slim said, thank y'all. Got to go see y'all later. Hey, we appreciate you, man. He said, thanks, Ruston, for the Pavia news. It still has me laughing. Will said, the freshman quarterback in Michigan is supposed to be the real deal.
He was okay. He had a rough weekend this past weekend. But he's a true freshman starting his first college game. He'll be all right. He's got some things to learn.
Well, I'll tell you what, we really do appreciate everybody joining us tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I hope all of you have a fantastic weekend ahead of you. Go Vols this, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. We will be live again Sunday night, 9:00 p.m. for the 250th episode of the Vol Bros. And Reed Carringer will be joining us, so we're excited to have Reed with us for that as well. We do hope all of you have a great weekend. Chris said, see ya. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us. It was good having you. We hope all of you have a great week. Go Vols, baby. And we will see you all. We have one more comment come in there. Nolan, there's a channel member. Hey, welcome, buddy. He said, go Big Orange. Absolutely. Jonathan said, great show as always. See everybody Sunday. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Rhonda said, great show tonight. Appreciate you so much, Rhonda. Thank you so much. Big Dave said, like and subscribe. Go Vols. Absolutely. Appreciate you, man. Matt said, go Vols, baby. That's what I'm talking about, Matt. Hey, I'll forward you that email. Sorry, I forgot. I'll forward you that email. Hope everybody has a great, great evening. Go Vols, baby, just like Matt said. And we will see all of you very, very soon. JL said, go Big Orange too. Absolutely. Have a great evening, everybody.